Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Khalik. How are you, my dear friends? We are talking about the self discipline and the self control. Of course, this is something which is extremely important. My dear friends and fellows, I believe and I think that no success, long term success, is possible without having the self discipline. And we have talked about part one and the benefits of the self discipline earlier. Now we are going to talk about tips to achieve the self discipline now. Tips to achieve the self discipline now. Five tips for exercising self control in the moment. That is what we are going to talk about now. First of all, out of these five tips for exercising self control in the moment is pause and reflect. Pause and reflect before acting. Pause and reflect before acting. Stop and think before acting. Take few deep breaths and consider if this align with your goals. Stop, reflect, take deep breaths, think whether it does align with your goals, with your destination, where you want to be, what you want to become. Does it align with that or totally opposite to that? With you, ask yourself if you will regret it later. Ask yourself that are you going to regret it later? If this be the case, develop hatred in your mind and heart for the thing which you were going to do. Throw it away. Number two, throwing it away becomes easy if at all we have paused for a minute, reflected, and considered whether it aligns with my long term goals or I have to regret it later on. So, once we think upon this way, it will become easy to exercise the self discipline in the moment. Number two, avoid tempting situations. Don't put yourself in environments where where your self control will be depleted. Don't go somewhere else at all. Don't meet these types of people at all who will deplete your self discipline. Make a strong commitment. I'm not going to meet this person at all. I'm not going to visit that place at all because doing that will deplete my self discipline. Because doing that will simply spoil me, and I don't have to do that at all. Number three, focus on long term over short term. Prefer the long term benefits and players over the short term benefits and players. Keep the future consequences in mind to motivate you to wait. Keep the future consequences in mind to motivate you to wait. Yes, indeed. Keep the future consequences in mind to motivate you to wait and work for the long term goals. Focus on the long term goals. Prefer the long term benefits and the players over the momentary one, over the short term. So that is the tip number three. The tip number four is visualize reaching your goals. Visualize reaching your goals and imagine how achieving your aims will feel. This can give you the strength to resist instant gratification. This can give you the strength to resist the instant gratification. And what is that? Imagine how achieving your aims will feel. Visualize reaching your goal. And the fifth and the last tip is reframe moments of weaknesses. See slip ups not as failures but as opportunities to build self discipline. If at all you have failed somewhere else, Don't be discouraged at all, because this is actually, you need to resolve to do better. We need to resolve to do better, and we need to make a commitment. We need to refresh our commitment that I am going to exercise the self discipline. Why? Because this is extremely important, because this is essential for my happiness, for my long term happiness, and for my, self for my success, and for my good life. So these were the five tips which are extremely important to enforce the self discipline in the moment. Let's have a very quick revision of all these five extremely important tips to to uh, to realize, to exercise, and to somehow enforce the self discipline. And first is pause and reflect before acting. Pause and reflect before acting. Take a few deep breaths and consider if this aligns with your goals. Ask yourself if you will regret it later. Avoid number two, avoid tempting situations. Don't put yourself in an environment where your self control will be depleted, will be in jeopardy. Number three, focus on long term. Prefer long term over short term players. Focus on long term over short term players. Keep the future consequences in mind to motivate you to wait. Number four, visualize reaching your goals. Imagine how achieving your aims will feel. This can give you the strength to resist instant gratification. Number four is visualize reaching your goals. Imagine how achieving your aims will feel. This can give you the strength to resist instant gratification. And number five is, you know, reframe moments of weaknesses. Reframe moments of weaknesses. See slip ups not as failure but as opportunities to build self discipline. So that is something really, really important, really, really useful. Tips for exercising, five tips for exercising self control in the moment. Thank you very much, my dear friends and fellows. Allah Hafiz.